So, alright. So good afternoon, class and teachers, and today I'll be presenting my individual presentation. So my presentation today will cover the consumer buying decision process, articles and reviews of the product which help me evaluate my social influences on consumer behavior, as well as the post-purchase decision process. So the product I chose is the MacBook Air 2018. So a brief description of the MacBook Air 2018. So the MacBook Air 2018 isn't completely changing the formula of its previous model. It's enough to be called one of the best MacBooks in Apple history. The MacBook Air 2018 features a much improved Retina display, an Amber Lake processor, and a light and thinner design that places itself among the best laptops today. However, the MacBook Air 2018 is the most expensive MacBook yet. Thus, the reason underlying it is at its price $1,769 is because the 2018 MacBook Air comes with an 8th generation Intel Core i5 processor, 8 gigs of memory, and 128GB SSD. Furthermore, the new MacBook Air is smaller than the original, providing a thinner and lighter laptop that is portable with dimensions of 11.97 inches, 8.36 inches, and 0.61 inches. Thus, the new MacBook comes in a 13.3-inch Retina display, which is already mentioned that it comes with an 8th generation fanless dual-core processor and 8 gigs of RAM. The MacBook Air 2018 comes with two USB-C ports, along the left-hand side. As such, consumers can use either one for charging. Hence, as Apple used a proprietary MagSafe port previously, the new USB-C format as a charging port provides the Air as a far more flexible and user-friendly device. The new MacBook Air features a 3rd generation Butterfly keyboard. Apple claims that this new keyboard design provides 4 times more likely stability hood than standard laptop keyboards, offering greater responsiveness and comfort for all consumers. Not only this, the new MacBook has a Touch ID built in, allowing consumers to log into the laptop with a fingerprint. This allows consumers to save time, generally making logging into a laptop quicker and easier. Finally, this new MacBook Air 2019 is made out of recycled aluminium, which makes this MacBook the greenest and most eco-friendly laptop ever. Apple has stated that the new design has been made from metal shavings from previously machined devices, thus meaning that Apple does not need to smelt and mine further resources and materials, which is great for the world. Thus meaning that to support this idea, consumers were scared that there will be blemishes or marks due to the recycled aluminium. However, Apple has further backed that statement up, and they have employed full-time house metallurgists to ensure that recycled aluminium body is up to Apple's premium-looking and rigorous standards. So moving on to the next slide. Problem recognition. So during the consumer buying decision process model, there were many outcomes and reasoning I needed to consider before asking myself whether the MacBook Air 2018 was the right choice. So firstly, I had to recognize a problem or the need in buying a new laptop. So as I was previously using a Windows-centered Ultrabook for 3 years, I cracked the screen and certain letters of the keyboard were not working. As such, I weighed out and evaluated my internal and external stimuli to reason the need in buying a new MacBook. With the help of Armstrong and Kotler 2013, they advised that internal stimuli arise from an individual's average need, while external need arises from the environment in which we live in. So hence, for my internal stimuli and motivation, I concluded that since it's been 3 years using my old laptop, as well as my personal desires of always wanting a MacBook, it was a safe start in deciding whether to purchase the new MacBook. On the other hand, Kotler 2008 states that the first stage of the buying decision process involves the consumer recognizing what the actual problem is, and as such, this statement allowed me to realize and thus become aware of the desired state I was in, ultimately being the core factor in motivating me to consider purchasing the MacBook Air 2018. So as for my external factors, it was the broken screen and certain letters of the keyboard not working. I realized that these issues were not enough to pass the were enough, to pass the first stage of the consumer buying decision process. I also took into consideration that it wasn't worth fixing my old laptop, which has already been used for 3 years. This is because paying a bit more money into a laptop that is current in the market was a much more viable option than fixing a laptop which may be slower and damaged due to its use of 3 years. So moving on to the next slide. So next step is research and insight. So I needed some research and insight to broaden and gain in-depth information about the MacBook Air 2008. So Kotler 2008 states that this step is crucial and dependent on the consumer's level of drive towards the product, and this stage is relevant to the modern age as modern society enabled customers to conduct research through several options. This is further supported by Mintel 2001, who states that over 55% of all internet users research productions online before making a purchase. Hence, with these statements, I researched the specifications and features of the MacBook Air 2018, as well as comparing the product with other laptops on the market. By using an online website known as TechRadar, TechRadar is a useful website which gives a detailed description of the product's features, as well as comparing the product with a comparable market with other laptops. So in my next slide, I'll talk about what I found in my research and findings and why I ultimately chose the MacBook Air 2018. So evaluating research and findings. So the next step, obviously, as I said, is evaluating the information and findings through all my sources. So I believe comparing products have become one of the most important sources in the buying decision process, as it enables consumers to compare different offers based on their features, characteristics, and price so that they can make the best decisions. With this statement, I knew it was important to not be biased and broaden my options in buying the perfect laptop for me. As my opinion was very strong with the MacBook Air 2018, there were a few laptops which also stood out. The Dell XPS 13 was a formidable laptop that was comparable to the MacBook Air 2018. And like the MacBook, the Dell XPS 13-inch with an 8th generation Intel Core i5 processor and a bezel-less Infinity Edge display. TechRadar depicts the Dell XPS 13 as one of the most popular Windows laptops in the world. The Dell XPS 13 was a great laptop and was similar to what I was initially looking for, as it's a Windows-powered laptop and which already placed itself ahead of the MacBook because I was more used to and familiar with the Windows software, whereas Apple, they use different software. Furthermore, it has a 4K display and a gorgeous laptop design which places it higher than the MacBook. However, I promised myself to only spend around $1,800 for a new laptop. Hence, as the Dell XPS 13 is priced over $2,000, I wasn't comfortable in spending that amount. So moving on, now let's talk about the MacBook 2018. So whilst the new MacBook has a Touch ID which has never been accomplished before, a fanless dual-core cheaper by $600, comfortability of USB-C charging ports, and being an economic-friendly laptop and being friendly to the environment, it sets itself higher than the Dell XPS 13 in my opinion. Not only this, as I'm currently using an iPhone, choosing the MacBook Air was a better option. Having an iPhone allows me to connect my phone with the MacBook, allowing me to text and call on the laptop, ultimately providing me with comfortability and easy access. So as a result, being able to research and compare two different laptops on the market has allowed me to value the worth in buying the new MacBook and understand its features better by comparing the MacBook with other laptops. So moving on to the final step, which is the post-purchase evaluation. So the final step within the consumer buying decision process is the post-purchase evaluation step. So after purchasing the MacBook Air 2018 at a discounted price of $1,600 at JB Hi-Fi, I was very satisfied with the purchase I made. With my personal dream of always wanting a MacBook, having Retina display resolution, extra security thanks to T2 chips, ports supporting the Thunderbolt 3 standard, Touch ID for easy and more secure unlocking, and third generation butterfly switch keys, I can safely say the features of the product have satisfied my personal desires. I was satisfied with my overall experience when purchasing my laptop at JB Hi-Fi. Even if I researched different laptops prior to entering JB Hi-Fi, the staff were extra helpful as they provided me more insight about the applications such as QuickTime Player, which I'm using now, and simple tips to make my MacBook experience better. The staff also showed me around to several other laptops including brands such as Acer, HP, and Samsung. However, the sales representative was respectful with my decision with the MacBook and maintained an excellent customer sales relationship. Hence, the sales representative offered me a further discount as it was near the end of financial year. The staff provided me with a a 2-year laptop warranty from Apple, which reassured and provided me with further satisfaction and security. And as a result, physically going to JB Hi-Fi and purchasing the laptop was great, as it enhanced my satisfaction further due to the great customer service I experienced. So moving on. So in conclusion, so in summary to the report and this presentation, I've identified the characteristics that affected my decision-making process in purchasing the right laptop. So by recognizing the need of a laptop due to defaults in my previous laptop, searching and comparing for an appropriate laptop, evaluating my personal circumstance and values, and finally gathering up all these factors to choose the correct laptop was an enjoyable experience. I learned to value the product and learned several features I didn't know about prior to purchasing the laptop. This ultimately satisfied my purchase, finding whether the MacBook Air 2018 was an appropriate laptop. It was a great and valuable experience. These are my references here, and thank you.